My friends, hello and welcome to Perfect Dark SpeedLore, the series where we take a look at one stage from the classic Nintendo 64 game Perfect Dark and talk about the speedrunning world records, the progression, the strategies, and the players who made it all happen. And tonight we're looking at a couple of players who haven't come up yet in an episode on one of the most skill-intense stages in the game, Villa Agent. And to help us out, as always, our co-host, Perfect Dark champion, and the absolute legend himself, Carl Jobst. Carl, thanks again and welcome back to SpeedLore.
Hello, hello. Hope you're doing well, thank you.
Yep, good morning to you, and I know it's a little bit earlier than usual for the both of us, but certainly, Carl, for a gamer, we're getting cracking right at it, and this is a level to take a big crack at. Villa Agent. I'm just going to throw up the objectives here on screen. We'll watch a run and explain the objectives while going through it, but what comes to mind briefly when talking about Villa Agent?
Villa is one of the more, straight down the line strafing levels in Perfect Dark. In Perfect Dark, there's a lot of really complex levels. Perfect Dark has some really cool objectives that you can do, but Villa Agent generally is just seen as one of those, pure strafing levels where you just sort of run the whole time. So it's a really, really, really fun level in that regard.
I mean, I always kind of view it as there are some levels in Perfect Dark that play more like GoldenEye. Kind of, you run through a couple of maybe buttons to press or guards to eliminate, run to the end, and there's some very Perfect Darky levels that we're warping through cracks and all sorts of glitching. This one's certainly more of the former. 3 objectives here: save the negotiator, activate wind generator, and rescue Carrington. So let's watch a run and see what we can see. And for this run, as often, we have the MadmanFlechr, one of his first recorded speedruns, is a Villa Agent 328. So let's see what he does here. So she's got to be quick or they'll kill the negotiator. So he's going to try to snipe at these guards.
You have to do this. So this is after a certain amount of time. Yeah, the hostage takers will kill the hostage. You have a lot of time there, but you don't have any other opportunity in the run to kill those people, really. So you have to do it immediately.
Yeah, and
that I was just going to say that the lag, the frame rate right there is really, really bad. Generally, Perfect Dark frame rate's pretty good, but the frame rate when you sort of zoom in and try and kill those hostages is really terrible. So that's like way harder than it looks, actually.
No, it is, and I think throughout the evening we'll see for sure some more. Certainly faster kills on the what are they? The hostage takers.
Yeah.
We'll see some pretty efficient snipes on those guards. I think Fletcher might almost have missed the time. Maybe not quite, but he was certainly on the slower end there. But of course, like I say, it's one of his first ever recorded runs, and we're certainly thankful that he recorded all these early runs for us to use. It's the perfect sort of explore the level and give us a tutorial kind of way to play it. So
yeah, he definitely took the scenic route.
Yes.
It took the scenic route coming down here.
It did.
So once you kill the hostage takers, all you got to do now is sort of get down to this area, and he's got to press these buttons. I don't know if you activate something or deactivate something, but you got to press those 2 buttons. Then you press this button. You're activating something, right?
Yeah.
So you're turning on power or something.
Yeah, you're turning on power, and then this door gets unlocked. And now there's 9 guards in here wearing kind of the black face masks. You have to kill all these guards to get the key card to open up the final door to rescue Carrington, Objective 3. So he's killed 2 there. There is a 3rd. And now there's going to be 6 more in sort of the wine cellar area. He's just double-checking that he's... Oh, not through that one. Yep. And the thing is... and
so,
yeah, go on.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to say this, but yeah, there's these black mask guys. You get the key card from the very last one you kill. So it doesn't matter who you kill last. You could kill them in any order you want, but the very last one you kill will drop a key card.
And that's exactly it. So Fletcher ran to the last one, thinking, oh, maybe the key card will be here, and it's not. And now he has to go back through and kill all of them. He thinks he's killed all of them now. But nope, the door's still locked. He's missed one, and he's gonna go. Yeah, this run was really perfect to show how to play it. And
yeah, he missed two here, so he's gonna have to get him. There's one.
There he is.
Okay.
Got the door key, and now we can go open the door, rescue Carrington, and call it a day. Oh, and the door opens outwards, and there's a pile of guards there. I've never seen that.
I've never seen that either. Yeah, that door opens outwards, so he got stuck there. Had a bit of trouble, but he got there in the end, so it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, the door opening outwards is becomes a thing you have to play well to get a record. You have to know I'm gonna press B and back up to trigger the end of the level. But yeah, and there's a 1 minute long cutscene that plays out. You talk to Carrington. He's thankful for saving, for being saved. 328, and there we go. That's how to play Villa Agent. Okay, anything we need to know more about Villa before we move on here?
No, I think that's pretty much it. It's very straightforward.
That was a pretty good exhibition. So the first recorded world record we have on Villa Agent is by Paragon from October 2000. We have a 117 with no video footage, and then we have this run. So let's take a look at Paragon, former champion of the game. We see two pretty quick snipes. That was I would say much better. You know, that was a pro. That was a champion snipe, and he's going to be strafing down here. Objective.
So usually on this level, we're trying to do these hostages so quickly. You actually end up doing a bunch of runs before you actually get one where you shoot them. Usually you try and go fast and miss them. Most runs until you get a run where you hit them. So when you usually just quit out pretty early, after you try and kill those hostage takers, until you get a run where you actually get them. So most runs just quit out straight away until you actually hit them.
Yeah, you'll kind of just YOLO spray 2 shots, and maybe 1 in 50 runs you'll be able to just play out. It does get a little bit annoying, but there's a lot of levels like that in speedrunning.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but it's only 2 seconds in, so yeah, it's super quick. So now you can see he's just a lot better with these. Now we have a strategy, Now we know what we're doing.
Yep. And he switches weapons instead of reloading there. I'm sure that's something that can be done to save time.
Yeah, with this weapon, switching weapons, going switching back and then switching back and forth to reload the gun is way faster than just reloading it. So that's the same in a lot of Perfect Dark. For a lot of Perfect Dark weapons, reloading is really slow, and it's just way faster just to switch weapons back and forth to stock up on the ammo again.
Yeah, it's very true, and I mean that's something as a non-natural Perfect Dark player for me that I still don't really have a full grasp on. Well, I think we'll see even kind of fancier weapon shenanigans later on. But there we go, a 116 by Paragon. And it was, that's a reasonable run, clean run. It would be tied a couple days later by Matthias Tenholm, and then a couple months later by Disco, Randy, Discombobulator, who also took it down to 115. Sadly, there is no video for the 115, so we go ahead to February 2001 and watch...
Well, can I...
Yeah?
I was just going to mention Matthias. Because Matthias, we've never talked about Matthias, and we may never talk about him. Depends on if we cover him in GoldenEye, but Matthias was a classic GoldenEye speedrunner. So Matthias was around back in 1999 playing GoldenEye. And I first saw him in a N64, it might have been 64 magazine, which was like a British Nintendo magazine, Nintendo 64 magazine. And Matthias, my first memory of him was because he, the 64 magazine had the score zone where people would submit their, and you covered it in your Ancient Relics video. And half of these times are fake, right? But Matthias actually won the Player of the Month or whatever for his times that he sent in. And I remember just a picture of him and then the winner of this monthly competition would get this turbo controller. So my first memory of Matthias, before I even started speedrunning or anything, was a picture of Matthias holding this controller that he won. And then it's really interesting how when I started speedrunning, he was actually part of the elite and everything. But he was he was super. He was very close to me back in the year 2000. We were very close friends. And then I don't know. He kind of left, but he was very integral to the elite right back in those early days. And when Perfect Dark first came out, a lot of these GoldenEye players played Perfect Dark. When it first came out, all the GoldenEye players were playing Perfect Dark. So yeah, this is he played Perfect Dark in the year 2000, and then I don't know what happened to him. He just quit.
No, it's true, and he wasn't really a big Perfect Dark player, which is it is kind of interesting to see more of a GoldenEye player get a Perfect Dark record on this stage, which may be a bit of foreshadowing for later. But yeah, I mean, I can imagine for you seeing him in the magazine and then sort of meeting him online. It's kind of a crazy, surreal moment where you kind of realize, for one, kind of the gaming world can be pretty small, and for two, hey, I can compete at this level as well. It's an interesting moment to reckon sometimes.
Yeah, and back when Perfect Dark first came out, as I mentioned, the GoldenEye players were jumping in. So you actually saw some records from really the big GoldenEye names Sterling Neblett, Wes McKinney, and a couple of these guys had records early on in Perfect Dark, and then they just completely died out in Perfect Dark. It's just a very, very brief moment in Perfect Dark where you see this crossover by most of the GoldenEye players.
Just a moment in time. I guess I was going to say lost to history, but not lost, because here we are talking about it today. But there we go. He had his 116 record beaten fairly quickly, and we would go on to see this next run, another run by Paragon, another improvement on the record. Took about 3 or 4 shots on those guards, so it still wasn't a full amazing YOLO, but it was decent. Mm-hmm. And we're going to strafe down the valley here. And by now, the sort of route, as opposed to the MadmanFlechr scenic route, the sort of speed route has been carved out now. And really, it's so intuitive. It's such sort of a clear-cut level that this won't change very much for the next 20 years, what the movement through the level, at least.
Yeah, it's so straightforward that there's nothing major that really happens. It's all about... This is one of those classic skill levels, where it's all execution, mostly. And then finding, here and there, how do I optimize this? How do I find a few tenths here and there and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's one of those levels almost with no skill ceiling. And so here he paused to reload.
That's shocking. I am shocked.
That this happened in 2001?
I'm shocked that you'd pause, man. That's terrible thing to do.
Okay, so it by pausing and reselecting the weapon, it's another way to reload without getting the full reload animation. But it's slower because it kills your momentum. Is that right?
Yeah. You never want to pause when you're strafing.
And I mean, I see people in chat bring it up. This probably was at a time before the 1.2 control style was used. Probably close to around it.
No, 1.2 was found to be faster in October of 2000.
Okay, so...
And a lot of the early Perfect Dark players used 1.2. So Paragon was using 1.2. since the beginning. It was the Perfect Dark players who came in and were using 1.2 that sort of broke that open. So most of the GoldenEye players, maybe all the GoldenEye players, were using 1.1. But a lot of these, it might have been particularly from the Illinois area, like Paragon, Discombobulator, CaptZeebo, stuff like that. They're all using like 1.2 since, I think, when Perfect Dark came out.
Makes sense. Kind of shows you the power of collaboration between strategies. I mean, even that early on, they were all learned 1.2 and maybe honed it by playing multiplayer and that kind of thing. But
oh, that's a good point, man. Yeah, so when I switched to 1.2, that's how I did it, was Perfect Dark multiplayer and going through the challenges and everything, because you can just do that by yourself. So that might have been a big part of it, yeah.
Yeah, there's this weird mental block where it's like, oh, I mean, I still face it today. It's like, oh, I should learn 1.2 on all these levels, but it's like, well, I could probably get a new record with 1.1, so like, and you kind of get in this bad mentality where you want to put off learning 1.2 for me, 14 years now. But by doing it, using the challenges, you don't like feel the pressure, like, oh, I'm missing out on possible speedrun records. So yeah, it's a good way to do it. So I'm seeing here 114 is this record by Paragon. About half a year later, a couple guys, CaptZeebo and Shock, tied it. And I was hoping Shock would have a video, but he didn't because I mean, that's the first time that name has come up.
Yeah, Shock. He's an Australian, so I know him. He was very prolific in the early days as well. He had some decent times. I don't remember exactly how far up the ranks he got. It would have been like reasonably high. He never made it to, that really upper echelon, but he was definitely good. And I was like, I used to chat to him, and I have no idea what happened to him.
Yeah,
he might have been a GoldenEye player as well. I forget his real name.
You know
Craig Makepeace? Was it Craig Makepeace?
Craig Makepeace, that's right. And his last recorded times are in September 2001, and he does not have a GoldenEye times page.
Okay.
But even
I swear, Craig Makepeace. Oh, I swore. Okay, he doesn't play GoldenEye. That's like one of those Mandela effect kind of things.
Well, what I was going to say is, even I remember seeing the name Craig Makepeace on like the old GoldenEye rankings, even like before the Elite, just old N64 rankings. So
I think he was an ancient GoldenEye player. He was part of the original GoldenEye ranks. So maybe he didn't cross over when the GoldenEye Elite was formed, and no one made a page for him.
Yeah, it could be, but like you're right. I remember seeing Craig Makepeace on with GoldenEye scores, 20 years ago. So I know it's always curious these little things that go on. And the thing is, there's so many guys from that era who have now completely disappeared. But there's kind of not. How do I just made this video about Dennis Lucid, this legendary figure who disappeared. But because these guys are even like longer ago, they're even like more forgotten type of thing, and yeah, all this ancient history coming out. Another guy would tie 114, and he would play Villa, and this is ExpertGamer. Some will be familiar with the name ExpertGamer, and he really good shots there. And this is shaping up to be a good speed run. I mean, he was clearly.
I was going to ask, is the video smooth on your end?
I mean, there was a little bit of a lag spike there. Like right now, it's smooth, and
okay, cool.
Yep, there was a spike around. These old 2001 videos. What do you call it? Data rot? Is that right?
No idea.
Yeah.
What were you saying about Expert?
That he's a good player. Lots of perfect dark times. Highly ranked. And I think obviously we put a lot of attention on his war perfect agent claim. That was dubious, but you know what? It's again one claim like that. I don't think is enough to cast the shadow of doubt over someone's entire body of work, and certainly he had a large and very talented body of work, including this run.
He went for the pause again. Now, I'll let you know, pausing in Perfect Dark when you're strafing costs so much time. Like, so much time. Like, at least half a second. It's just, like, gone.
That's not, like, terrible. Half a second is, like, it's bad, but it's not, like, as bad as it could be, you know? It's not, like, 3 seconds lost. But, okay, so there's a 113 by ExpertGamer. September 01. A month later, his buddy CaptZeebo would attempt to tie or beat the 113, and let's see what happens here. Really, I mean, I think those are the best shots we've seen all night.
Yeah, it's hard for me to actually see them because it's not too smooth over Skype.
Ah, I see, but they were good. But they were good.
Are you closing those tabs as you're done with them?
No, I'm not. Should I?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a clear out after this run. Yeah, I don't imagine we'll have to take a look at these again.
CaptZeebo was really good. He never really, like, filled out his times page, like, all the way. But the levels that he did play, he got really good times on. He was definitely talented.
Yeah, no, he was like, yeah, you know, I can see what you mean. He probably wasn't like a top 3, top 5 player, but like he had potential on many stages at that time.
Yeah.
Getting some untied records and whatnot. Let's see what he goes for here.
So he's still pausing. Now, what you want to focus on when you're looking for ways to improve this area is how do you kill all these guards without stopping? It's basically the goal. Because in Perfect Dark or in GoldenEye, you know, when you stop moving, you lose full speed, and it takes like a few seconds to build it up again. You'll notice in this, when you look at these ends, you see how many times they stop. So they'll kill the first guard, then the next 2 he'll stop, then he'll come back and open the door to kill that guard, he'll stop, then he'll kill the next guard and pause. I mean, that's a stop as well. Just so much time in the end is lost because they're stopping to kill these guards. So look for how the end starts to get optimized in players, you know, not stopping.
Yeah, we're gonna see some like that's the thing. I think the whole sum of this level is how fast can you do that final room, and it's gonna get pretty insane. And this Zeebo record was decent. October 01. It would be matched by Dark Avenger, our pal. Wouter Jansen would tie it in March. That's another GoldenEye player crossing over. Sukram and ExpertGamer in April. And then, well, who would come along but the one and only Carl Jobst with a 111. Let's take a look at this run and see what we got.
Yeah, so the reason I got this in June was because in June and July I was playing Perfect Dark, and I didn't have NTSC, so it was just PAL. Yeah, I didn't have NTSC, and Villa is a level where you can get away with playing it on PAL because there's no lifts or anything. Maybe this store coming up here might be a tad slower, but back in those days, the level wasn't optimized to the point where it'd be a big deal. So Villa was one level that I really played a lot more because there was no lifts and I wasn't disadvantaged in it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think you could kind of see that door, as you said, a little bit slower, but I mean, it was probably like a 0.3 thing, which back then, yeah, wasn't, you know, maybe even less than 0.3, which back then certainly wasn't a huge deal. And let's see your strat at the ending here. Ooh, look at this pause. I guess you hadn't picked up a CMP 150 yet.
No, I stopped there as well. See, yeah, back in 2002, I just wasn't caring about those little optimizations, you know? So a ton of times I stopped when I could have held strafe and all that kind of stuff.
You did make it without a reload there, which is pretty big, and a 111 untied world record.
Yeah, and we'll bring up one thing. People were saying in chat, people were talking about the frame rate in Perfect Dark. And, yeah, it is true that Perfect Dark generally the frame rate's better, but it has like the lag spike, like the bad frame rate spikes that you get in Perfect Dark. I think are a lot worse than GoldenEye. So in Villa, there's an area when you're about to, after the beginning, when you head outside, there's like really bad lag there. So I started to look down there even before lookdown was a thing. So looking down here, see that? Yeah, so that was like looking down there to avoid this big lag spike that happens when you go outside. This is like starting to use lookdown instinctually before it even came out as a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you probably just did it because it was probably a, how do you put it? I want to say like trial and error type of thing, or like you just kind of felt that, oh, it's less laggy if I look down, you know? So yeah, I wonder if it's one of those things where it's like looking back, it's like you could have realized that look down was better, but because you kind of did, but just
it's hard to know when generally when you're playing the level, and also I wasn't playing GoldenEye myself, so I couldn't have. I was only playing Perfect Dark. When it's obvious, when the frame rate improves so dramatically, then you can sort of feel the difference. But generally, it's like impossible to really tell. You know what I mean? Then you have to be smart and sort of apply it. It's hard. It's the hard part is sometimes applying the obvious things to where it's not obvious and taking that leap. You know what I mean? But I never really do that. But some people are really good at doing stuff like that.
No, it's true. I mean, and certainly back then, people were less good at doing it. Nowadays, it's almost a skill that becomes more intuitive. To like, if you find some sort of anomaly, to figure out how to put it in the wider game. But back then, no way that was happening. There you go, a 111 though, a quite a nice run, quite a nice ending, no reloading. A few months later, it'd be matched by Greg K. So let's take a look at Greg K's run. The first one we have with in-game audio tonight, which is good. Black and white though.
Yeah, because he's playing NTSC, I'm sure.
But the thing is, Greg K is Brazilian, which has NTSC.
No, Brazilian's PAL.
No, Brazil is NTSC.
No way, dude. It's like it's PAL for sure.
I'm quite sure Brazil's NTSC. I think
we'll Google search will settle this. PAL, Brazil is PAL. Yeah, for sure.
Someone in chat.
It's like a PAL C-cam or something.
I could see it being like a C-cam thing, and where, I mean, I'm so sure it's. I'm like a. Now
yeah, the Brazilians were PAL players all the way.
Now you're making me like doubt myself, you know. But
yeah.
Okay, pretty nice shots here. Let's see if he does a no reload ending. Oh no, the pause.
What happened? Why are people doing this?
He had good guard movement there.
Probably going slower there made the end a bit easier to deal with, but it's losing time for sure.
Yeah, and I mean when that second last guard jumps out into the kind of open area, that is like easy for sure, easier to deal with, and that pause might have influenced that. Yeah, Greg K, a funny Brazilian guy, and
he came back. He came back recently, and so he's ancient, obviously. He came back recently and got a really insane time. He got the 18-second attack ship end, didn't he?
Yeah, he got an untied on attack ship secretion, that's right. And he's been playing GoldenEye, he's jumped up into the top 25 now. Like he's killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's 13th in Perfect Dark, 23rd in GoldenEye. It says here that he is 31, so he would have been 14 years old when he got this world record back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty crazy.
It's interesting. I think back then, the average age of these speedrunners was a lot younger than what you see these days in speedrunning. Or maybe because, like, maybe it's because young people don't really stream on Twitch as much. But yeah, back then we were all 13, 14, 15 years old, all of us. Or 16.
Crazy times. I know it's true, and obviously nowadays you and I are some of the kind of more older on that end, but still it seems like, yeah, I mean 17, 18, 19 yeah, you see a few speedrunners younger, but it might be a Twitch thing. That might be what it comes down to. But I mean, back then, yeah. What I'm just reflecting now on being young and playing video games all day, and that's your life. So hey, good times. Well,
Yeah.
Greg K, and that wasn't his real name. I think that was named after I think he took that name after a metal musician. I want to say, I'm pretty
sure. His real name's Vitor Miranda.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Greg K is the bass guitarist for The Offspring. So there you go.
Okay.
So he's literally using a musician's name. I know, it's funny stuff. And there's a lot of the Brazilians like that kind of punk. They were really into the punk ska type of stuff back then.
I even had some punk in my videos. Like, oh man, I can't even remember the names. Lagwagon. I think I had some of that.
It was, I know it was popular among teenage guys back then. So there you go. All right. Well, obviously you were a bit unenthused with Greg tying your 111. So about a month and a half later, you got a 110. Sadly, there's no video of the 110. Do you know why, for any reason?
Well, at that time, it was so lax with videos and everything. Generally, I wasn't recording if there was someone with me. So sometimes Adam Moore would be with me and I'd be going for a record and I wouldn't be recording. In this case, I think I remember exactly where I was, man. I was sitting on my bed. Greg Watmore was next to me. And I was just like playing some Villa. I wasn't even grinding for better. I just like played it and just got 110. And then we're like, yeah, cool. It's like it wasn't a big deal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
it wasn't a big deal.
I can imagine back then saying, oh, this guy can vouch for me. He saw the run. That obviously going a long way. But I mean, I can imagine as well. Nowadays, if that were the case, just imagine how silly things would get if that were the case today. But there you go. No matter, because you would make up the lack of a 110 video a little bit later in July 2003. You would get another speedrun, and this speedrun, my friends, is a remarkable speedrun. So much so, it's dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, 4-Day Bender. Thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's take a look at this. Now, this is a good run. We're starting to get some good runs here. So let's take a look.
Yep. Past 2002 is where things started to definitely step up.
That was a really quick... It was like almost as if you got the second shot as you were like zooming out on the sniper, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's a lot more optimal.
A lot more YOLO.
Yeah, definitely. So even here, we're just keeping some amount of lookdown all the time. This is So lookdown had come out, but see, we're no longer sort of. There's even in Perfect Dark, we're kind of keeping some level of look down here. You can just see it, to me it like kind of looks normal, but I'm sure to someone who doesn't watch speedruns, you can tell definitely that there's some look down all the time.
Yeah, it's like an intuitive, it's like a half intuitive look down, you're kind of just doing it. It just feels right. It feels like the right way to strafe.
So I think I didn't stop there, did I?
Nope. I love the vintage VHS scroll. Yeah, this was no reloads.
No reloads at all there? That last section?
I don't think so. 109 is the new record. We can watch that last section again here.
So, where am I stopping here? That's all well and good, easy. I stop here for a long time. So that's one area that you could do better.
It's like 1, 2
And I'm
bullets.
not even reloading, yeah. So this is, I think I made this the standard now, like no reloading. and no pausing.
Yeah, really good time. 109. How many bullets do you have in the CMP 150 at the end there? Is like 30?
30? Is it 32?
32? And, I mean, they come out so fast that it's like tapping Z.
Oh, dude, there's this weird phenomenon in Perfect Dark where even though it says 32 bullets, when you shoot, 32 bullets don't come out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like the game actually eats like X amount of shots. So if you, let's say you just sit there, you got 32 bullets and you just hold Z, so the gun just shoots. You won't shoot 32 bullets. You'll shoot like 20, or like 20 something.
See, that makes a lot of sense. Like the way it's such a how troll it is to defeat all 6 guards in the last room. 32 bullets, 5 each. You think it should be no problem, but there you go. They get eaten as they come out.
Yeah.
And that 109 was very good. It would remain untied for several months. That was July 03. It would take all the way until April 04 before anyone would match it. And who would match it but a guy named Narigutita, a fellow Brazilian. And Nari was an interesting guy. I remember he was he was a punk rocker as well. He was really into Bad Religion. And so his avatar on the forums was the Bad Religion logo, which is like a cross crossed out in red. And I remember seeing it for the first time. I was like, "Man, this is a little bit like edgy, buddy." And he told me it was the band's logo. Anyways, he was a good dude, and he would tell me about stories about the Brazilian favelas and stuff like that. A very interesting guy to talk to. And
hey, can I give you a funny nickname?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know if it was Greg Lewis or Matt Cook that came up with it, because he tied the 109. So I think Greg Lewis called him Narigutita. And we always called him Narigutita. It was hilarious.
So you were making fun, implying he cheated, even though really there was no evidence. I guess back then you could just say, because no one was like actually cheating or getting banned for cheating. You could just accuse anyone of cheating, and it wouldn't go anywhere. It would just be like almost a badge of honor to be accused. We're
not even really accusing him of anything. It's just it's just making fun of him.
Like, cheating wasn't even a thing back then, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not really. No. I bet it was a thing, but it wasn't like out. You know what I mean? But he was good. He didn't get like too many crazy times. But yeah, those Brazilians, man, they got a couple of good times on the PAL levels.
They had a similar kind of culture in terms of getting records as the Australians, I would say, where like oftentimes once or twice a year they would meet up and they would go ham for like a weekend and get some good records.
Wow, the pause, man. I thought we were over that.
The 109 pause.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. Wow, there it is. 109 pause. Filla agent by Narigutita, as they said back in the day. Wow, and a decent run by all means. Aside from that pause, losing half a second, you say?
Yeah.
I bet the 109 still would stand up, though. Obviously, it's beatable. Still stand up. Your Eliteness would match it in November 2004. And we're progressing through the ages a little bit. January 05, our pal, Big Bossman, would come along and he would get the 108. And somehow there's no video of that, which is strange, because like usually Boss has videos of, like, Boss was pretty complete with videos, so it's kind of an anomaly that there was no video for that one. And a bunch of people will get 108.
Oh, I gotta, okay, there is a bit of 108. I'll give you this link. And just go to the first one there. It's Big Bossman Filler 108.
Holy smokes. Let's see what we can do with this. Okay.
Yeah, Boss has videos of everything. So
Yeah, I thought that just seems so strange that there was no vid. We can do it. We're gonna download it from this ancient server, and I'm gonna bring it to XSplit in 1 second. All right, we found this hidden speedrun. Boss 108 from January 2005. Captured, and I mean, when it's not re-uploaded to YouTube, it's in all its 4:3 glory. Obviously a very good start. I'm expecting it's going to be basically...
it's not on screen.
Oh, for you. It's not on screen for you.
Okay.
It's in my XSplit. Yeah, it's...
Okay.
I do, never seen before footage. It has been seen before. I wonder when the last time anyone actually watched this video file was probably, could have been multiple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So he hits both buttons. I'll tell you how he does in the last room.
Yep.
Hits button there. Good stuff. He's going into the hallway. Kills the one. He does stop at the end of the hall for the two there.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes in. It looks like he's going to try for a no reload. Yeah, a no reload, no stop run. And there it is. 108. Villa Agent 108 by Boss. Nice. Wow, and yeah, so that was decent. He'd get that January 05. It would be matched by yourself, February 05. You two would hold it for a few months. Narigutita would tie it. And then Dark Slayer would come along. Yet another Brazilian. And he would get this run. 2 quick shots. There's such a
Dark Slayer. He's like rings a bell. He rings bells. I'm not getting anything.
Rodrigo like Azevedo or something. He showed up when Twitch came back. He would hang out and chat like all the time. Another Brazilian.
Oh yeah.
And
he's going for a nice rail. See that rail there? See how he went on top of the rail?
Oh yeah,
I don't know if
yeah.
that's too. I don't know if that's really that much faster, but like, it's a better way to do that movement there.
When you're pushing for frames, like it can matter in the end. See, this isn't quite like Rutsu vision. If Rutsu's records were in this vision, it would be like perfectly acceptable, I would say, for the time frame. But I mean, this is VCR artifacts like give some authenticity to it.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be, these artifacts are going to be way cooler the further we get from VCR tech, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the longer years go by, when like in 20 years when we see this type of videos, we'll be hit hard, I reckon.
You're gonna have like streamers fake the effects just to like make it look cool, and YouTubers, they already kind of do.
Yeah.
But there is a Dark Slayer 108. A pretty good time. I think that ending was like the best we've seen so far, I would say. Like when this room I think was the best we've seen so far. He does shoot a fair bit here, and the last 4 just really clean and quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tight.
Yeah, very good. And these four, Boss, Carl, Nari, Dark Slayer, would have the 108 for about a year and a half, and no one else would get 108. And then something interesting would happen in January 07. This gentleman, Henning Blom, would get 108. Let's take a look at this run. Good shots there. And some of you may know why, or be familiar with Henning Blom, and that he was removed from the GoldenEye rankings 5 years after this point. But he's not removed from the Perfect Dark rankings. And the reason for that, I guess, I was thinking about it when preparing this lore. It's like, the idea of removing someone from the rankings was so foreign. It was like such an extreme measure back then that it just didn't come around to anyone to remove him from Perfect Dark at the time. And even though nowadays, every so often, I would kind of get in a trolly mood, and I'd say like, "Oh, let's we should remove Henning now from Perfect Dark," or like, "Who should we remove now?" Just to have a bit of a laugh on the forums. People kind of concluded that like Henning probably should have been removed from Perfect Dark 2 back then, but you know what? It was an error, and we got to live with it now. And so he's still like able to play Perfect Dark and submit times. A bit of a stuck there. That was really, really good, aside from that stuck.
And you see the two guards just after the beginning of this basement, he didn't stop for the two guards on the right.
Yeah.
So if you have a look at how he did that, it was really fast.
That was the best we've seen tonight as well, and so I think, all things considered, a bit of like
that's slow. That door was slow.
But those guys,
he didn't stop there. Yeah, he didn't stop there at all. So he kept his full speed. That saved heaps.
Yeah, that's really shocking. I don't even know how the guys do it. They're stuck there.
Okay, yeah. So this was like basically a 107 run, but he got stuck on the door entering the basement, and then he got stuck on that wine case or wine shelf as well. So definitely, the technique wise for everything else was 107 for sure.
Yeah. So
Henning was good. Henning
was one of the most highly skilled players we've ever seen play GoldenEye or Perfect Dark. It's very true. And I guess what happened was your Eliteness saw this run and was like, 107's clearly possible. I'm going to try to get it. And the next day, your Eliteness would go out and achieve this run. And this was like, I'm going to leave, the music is like super classic. It's a,
what is it?
Hall of the Mountain King remix where he says this is the police. It's really crazy.
Yeah, see, music I used to do your Eliteness's videos, and my music choices were really good, and then when he started doing his own music choices, I think it went downhill, man.
Oh, I see.
I hate it when I make these epic music videos and then people start ruining their own videos with their own choices.
Well, everyone thinks their own music taste is the best,
Yeah. Probably your Eliteness video with Linkin Park, I probably did that video.
Really nice. Those two, it doesn't even look like he kills both of them. That's how insane it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's the quick reload with no,
Really good. Quickly reload. He did a quick reload there.
He reloaded. I don't know if it was quick. It looked quick to me.
What would it had to have been if he did it? Let's have a look here again.
So he doesn't stop or there it is, right?
Okay. Yeah, the only way you can really get away with that is if you change strafe, because changing strafe there kind of slows you down a tiny bit. If you're doing that optimally, you don't even want to do a quick reload.
So we're saying no reloads on that.
No reloads, the way to go for sure.
All right. I mean, but there it is, 107, and that's going to be a good record. I mean, even to this day, I would say 107 is hard to get like that. That's a good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your Eliteness was good. I never really saw him as super I saw him more as an all-rounder who played everything, and so I got pretty good times on everything. I never really saw him as super high skill, as far as the aces and stuff like that. The skill is on another level.
It's true.
Yeah, but this is a really good time that he got, as that was actually a high skill level. You know what I mean? That was just a pure skill level.
And it was also kind of later in his career that he got this time. He, I think, became the champion in 2004, and this is now January 2007. So really, it is much, much later in his career. I'm just looking at his PR history. He got a couple of times in 2012. Aside from that, this is one of his last records. He played mostly in 2004, 2005. So I kind of wonder what motivated him to come back and get this. Because the thing is, okay, Henning got 108 January 21st. This one was January 22nd. It's unlikely that Henning's run had these slight mistakes, and then Your Eliteness was inspired to pick up the controller like that night and got 107, there must have been some hype around Villa at the time that Your Eliteness also like got into, and Henning got into, and they both kind of fought it out, and Your Eliteness came out on top, I would say. But who knows what that mystery was? It could have just been a level kind of snowballing at the time, you know. It's hard to dig up the dates on records that aren't world records from back then, so it could have been like some newer players were getting 109, 110, that type of thing. But Your Eliteness' 107 would stay as the record for a number of months until, yes, PerfectAce would come along in July 07, and he would get this run. And this run is on the PAL console for sure. Ace did not have an NTSC console at the time. And I guess Your Eliteness' might have been on PAL. I'm going to try to find out now. I think he must have had both versions. You know?
PerfectAce?
No, okay, so Your Eliteness' 107 was NTSC. That I can confirm.
Yep. Who are you talking about, sorry? Who are you wondering if they had both?
Well, this one is definitely PAL. Ace's 107 is definitely PAL.
Yeah. Yep.
And at this point, when we're getting like more optimized, that's starting to matter more.
Yeah. PAL, I think, does lose a bit of time on some doors. Maybe not the ones that open like that, but the doors that kind of slide open, I think they may be like a touch slow.
Yeah, like the one coming up here where he pops through into the sort of final basement.
Yeah, so there's a couple of doors like that in the level that you got to go through.
Like that guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's faster or not.
Oof.
That was tight.
Yeah, that was like, I just could never play this level because like you don't want to risk not killing them. It'd be so.
Surprisingly, though, it's not like it's like it plays so much better than GoldenEye. It really does. So when Perfect Dark's frame rate is good, there's just so much. You have so much more control. That's why I love playing Perfect Dark, because you do have there's a level of precision that you have that's just a bit better than GoldenEye. GoldenEye aiming on anything is just like hard. You know what I mean? And like just looking around is a chore because of the frame rate so bad. With Perfect Dark, it is a bunch smoother. It's a bunch easier to do. So these like really cool kills and stuff. It's a lot better to play and a lot easier to do than it would be on GoldenEye.
Yeah, I see what you mean, and I mean even like I say, I streamed about a week ago. I picked up the controller in GoldenEye for the first time in a long time, and you describing it as being a chore to look around in GoldenEye immediately rung true with me again. So I see what you mean. I mean, I just can't get over those shots. Like, I have a 112 on this level. I don't play Perfect Dark that much, but I stop for half a second there and make sure that those two guards are killed. And Ace just like that's absurd. As absurd as it was, more absurdity would take place in December of that same year, when of course Karathorn and Red Bull would mail Ace an NTSC console. Ace, the legend is something like 20 plus untied world records in December 07. This is going to be one of them, and this run is so remarkable. It's dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Thurvin. Thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's take a look at this Villa Agent 106 by PerfectAce.
Yeah, this is pretty insane.
I really imagine he's just going to have a super YOLO ending, and it's going to be pretty much the reason for one. I mean, obviously all the strafing is going to be insane too.
Yeah. Well, Ace was, around this time, he was good. He was really good. He's obviously good now, but he took everything to the next level in 2007,
It's hard to say a guy like Ace ever had like a prime, like he's almost always in his prime.
When he plays, he's in his prime, yeah. But I look at prime as in relative to everyone else. And in 2007, he was just so far ahead of everyone, you know?
That much is true.
So everything's looking really good. Yeah, everything's kind of like, technique-wise, there's nothing major at all that you could basically say was wrong with it or anything.
Wow. I know it is kind of hard to like get a super insane appreciation for it. Especially
the 106 is so tight. Like, how do you even in 2007? How do you even say, "Hey, I want to go for 106"?
Well,
that's the kind of crazy thing, you know.
I think over the next few runs, we'll try to paint the picture of just how insane that is, because we're going to go over everyone who tied 106 over the next 10 years, and it's not going to be very many people. So let's start with 106 by David Clemens over a year later in January 2009. Nice shots. And, like, if there is anyone who at that time could go punch for punch with PerfectAce, it was certainly Clemens. Yeah, I mean, even he's trying now. He's trying to match Ace's control on tides, which are no easy task. But it's like almost because Ace was that good, other people have to learn how to be that good as well. And like you can see on the doors, he just is going, like, as soon as the door is opening, he's finding the crack to go through.
Yeah. Even those stairs are very kind of difficult to do optimally. There's like tons of little tiny subtle details to how to strafe this level and do it quickly that aren't like immediately obvious.
Yeah, he's like squeezing every frame out of this run. I mean, you might have seen the second guard for like a frame there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and count it afterwards. And he's gonna watch the entire cutscene here. How many runs would you say you get to the basement and you do like the full YOLO attempt before you actually get one that completes?
Oh, it's not many, because when you're going for 106, you should be getting 106 paces, but you're just YOLOing everything. It's not the type of level where you get complete and they're slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you're gonna get 106.
You go for broke.
Yeah, you're gonna get 106 pace runs to this door, and then you're gonna try to YOLO the entire ending. And it's like
this whole grinding this whole level, everything is this end. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't complete a run and then it's slow. Generally, you go for broke. So when it completes, it's gonna be the run. If you know what I mean?
Exactly. And I mean,
so for me, if you're asking, when I went for 106, how many runs did I complete before? How many runs did I get before I completed 106? I'd be like, wouldn't even be that crazy to say 0, because like you go for the 106 and then until you actually get it completed. You know what I mean?
But how many 106 pace runs to the basement did you have?
Fair bit, heaps.
Like hundreds.
Heaps. Yeah,
hundreds. Well, the next guy to tie 106, 2+ years later, would be Cedric, a former champion and maybe the best Japanese player ever in Perfect Dark history. Mm-hmm. Him and Taka would be the top two.
Have we spoken much about Cedric? We might have covered him a tiny bit in Mayan.
Yeah, I mean, say whatever you want about Cedric. We know to look at the ending now is pretty much it.
Yeah, I was just not really in the elite. I was not really active when these Japanese players were there, which is a shame, man. Cedric and Taka. Yeah, man, they were really good. I wish I could have like talked to them or whatever, you know, when they were getting times. But they seem to be just gone now.
Like, because they didn't communicate much with the forum because of a big language barrier. And as a result, I kind of wonder if there's so much like lost knowledge there. Like, they might have known some little improvements, some little tweaks that would help, and it was never like communicated because of such a language barrier. And I feel like nowadays the language barrier gets less and less as like more modernity comes along, and I mean nowadays a lot of North Americans and Europeans go to teach Japanese, so there's a lot of guys who can communicate easily in both languages. That language barrier is falling down, but yeah, now they're kind of gone, and so you wonder what's been lost, what knowledge has been lost there. And that's the thing. There's hard to say much more about him because he would just show up, get some insane records, and that was it. And he would play as good as anybody. I mean, he was a champion for a while for a good reason.
He was really good, really good.
I know.
What I would love to see is what kind of crazy times they could get now. Whenever I look at the really, really good players, I just wish I could see them come back with the modern strats and everything, and just see what they could get.
It is really true, because like you even look at a guy like Boss, who is his prime, many would say might be 03, 04, and like still when he shows up and gets a time, it can be a head turner for sure. It can be an insane record. So I mean that's the thing, is like gaming's weird because the skill, obviously, your reaction time's not as sharp, but so much in it becomes muscle memory and the knowledge of how to execute under pressure, and that doesn't leave you. You always have that.
Well, you get more wisdom.
Yeah, even now in the recent times I have played, I feel like much more calm on like world record pace runs.
Calculated.
Yeah,
it's a lot more calculated. The older I get and the more experience I get, everything's way more calculated. Like back in the early 2000s, man, I was just fucking around, just playing.
You're just playing, yeah. You're just playing the game and ramming as hard as you can with that youthful energy to see what you can get. And now it's almost. I wonder what's a good analogy. I don't know. Now you play like a craftsman. Like you're carefully cutting you're like carving wood or a sculpture. You're carefully cutting it away.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I even plan my progression. Like I'm like, okay, when I first start a level, I'm going to use these strats, and then I want to get this PB, and then when I get this PB, I want to like change to this strat. You know what I mean? Like even my whole grind is like planned out.
See, I like that. I feel like a lot of people don't do that, where it's like, well, like for example, you're playing damn Double Agent right now. You have 159, the record's 155,
158.
So it's like, I would play and be like, okay, I don't want to skip right to 155 necessarily. I'm going to slowly ease into it and get the 158, 157, 156 first, and then amp it up over time. And a guy like Clemens, for example, just plays all out for the time he's going for, with that more headstrong mentality. But yeah, no, I find as I get older, the more calculated approach is better, for me at least.
It's more fun. It's more of a passion project. Like just the journey is much more about, it's more about the journey, really, if you know what I mean.
Yep, it is the journey. And, well, whose journey would be the next one to get Villa 106? I mean, Cedric got it April 2011. So we're here 3.5 years after Ace got it. 3 men have the record. 2012, no one got it. 13, no one got it. 14, no one got it. So now we're 7 years out, and only 3 men have 106. But alas, in June 2015, Carl Jobst would get this speed run. Let's take a look.
Did I not use a quick pause there? No, I didn't. Okay.
A quick pause at the start?
Yeah.
Oh, to pull out the,
Yeah, I didn't use one. I used it on the, on Special Agent. But yeah, if you with Perfect Dark, when you pause to select weapons, they come out quicker. You can do that at the start and gain time.
Has anyone? I didn't even notice that yet tonight.
No one does it.
So it's been so overlooked to this point.
Yes, I did use it on Special Agent when I came back to that, like a couple of years after this, or a year after this. But yeah, with quick pause, you can really get like half a second faster starts. It's pretty crazy, but it's like a lot harder.
Wow, okay. Why is it harder?
Ace used it apparently in the 106, did he?
I'll go back and look. The guard had the "I don't want to die" sound effect at the very end, and it was pretty good. I mean, that ending was insane. I'm gonna just look back at Ace's 106 here and see at the very start. Yeah, okay, Ace did, but that was it. So Ace pulls it out. Boom, boom. Yep. Okay. Yeah, 106. What were you thinking going for it? And I mean, it took you ages to get.
What was I thinking? I was thinking, I don't even know if I'm good at this game anymore.
Yeah.
In 2014, 2015, this was one of those times where I was like, yeah, okay, I can actually compete again.
I mean,
I still got it, you know?
That's true, because now you're tying this record that only 3 people over 7 years have achieved, and they're 3 really, really good players, so when you get a time like this, certainly you feel like, okay, I can still play this game.
Yeah, you know what I mean? When you get older, and you haven't played for a long time, you start to doubt yourself, you know? And you're like, oh, I don't even know if I could even get anything anymore. So sometimes you need like a good record to prove to yourself, to give you confidence that you can actually play.
Yeah, it's very, very true. I mean, like something like Silo 121 for me gives me that reminder. Yeah, so I know what you mean. Well, for some strange reason, a month later, and I don't know how to explain this or why it happened, but Mark Rutsu would play Perfect Dark, and he would go for Villa Agent 106, and I mean, there's no doubting Mark's skill as a speedrunner, so he would get this run. I mean,
yeah, well, a lot of the GoldenEye players, when they play Perfect Dark, they do get drawn to Villa Agent.
Yeah, I don't know what's more shocking, guys. It's true that Mark played Perfect Dark, or that we have a good quality Mark Rutsu video. It's pretty amazing in both regards. It is a left ear audio, but we'll so it's not perfect, but
there's some ghosting.
Yeah. I mean, Mark did play Perfect. He played Perfect Dark a little bit at that time. I think he got 1 Untied on Escape, which will hopefully get. I mean, that's a fun level. We'll get to that at some point.
Untied? Was it? I don't think it was just a tie.
Oh, I think you're right. I think he tied Taka's 221. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Oh, the backstory on his PD username. So when he joined the forums, his like alias was Inkosi Divinal, and nobody knew why. He claims that Inkosi is some sort of word for like king in one of the African languages, and I've looked it up and I couldn't find anything to like verify that before. That's what he claims. And yeah, just very, I don't know why he picked, nobody knows, like nobody really knows. I think he just thought it was cool as like a 16, 17-year-old. So, that's it. No, nothing more to it. I'm also curious why, when he decided to go away from Mark Rutsu for a while, he chose the name Marcus Stryker, which is just such a brilliant alias name. Alright, let's see, MW's linking Inkosi in chat. Inkosi from Zulu, Chief King. So, there's Inkosi. Why Vinyl? Yeah, who knows? There's a lot of mysteries about Mark Rutsu that we'll never know. So, 106, 5 extremely talented players have 106, but we're now 7.5 years out of Ace originally getting 106, and incredibly through 2016 and 2017, no more players would get 106. It would be only those 5. We would see some other players play Villa Agent. Luke, Home on Ice, GoldenEye champion in 2016, would get a 107, a pretty good time. We've seen how good 106 is. 107 is pretty decent. Luke has a few Perfect Dark times. He's ranked about 50th. But it's another example of a top GoldenEye player coming over and being drawn to Villa. But still, we're at the start now of 2018, even through 2018, and still only those 5 men have 106. Carl, is 105 possible?
105 is possible, definitely. So as I mentioned, the quick pause saves a good chunk of change at the start. Not many people were using that one. And there's there are some psycho strats you can do. Like really YOLO kills at the end. You know what I mean? Well, there's only really one kill that you could do way faster, which is you enter, you kill that first guy, you hit those 2 on the right, and then when you open the door to kill the next guy, the double doors here, this one you could really YOLO, and you kind of even do that full strafe, and not even really spend much time.
I'm seeing you could almost do it on the frame you open the door while you're right strafing,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
so you could YOLO.
And these things are saving 1 or 2 tenths of a second.
Oh, dude.
What?
Dude. Oh my god.
You have a run?
Oh man, we gotta find this run. Illu's agent Dishwasher warp.
Okay, yeah, let's see it. Let's see it.
Man, can anyone out there? I'm trying to find it now.
Let's see. All videos. View all. When roughly would this have been?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Dish. Oh, I got Dish. Dishes has a hit on Villa Agent 50 generator with Dish.
Yeah, that would be it.
This is the one we're gonna watch. This is it. Whatever this is. Okay, so there's this weird strat that comes up where there's a dishwasher in the villa that you can warp through the floor on. Now, it saved time on Perfect Agent, is that right?
Mm-hmm. The Perfect Agent one record got lowered dramatically. And this weird warp you can do on the dishwasher in the kitchen.
And we don't know if it saves time on Agent at this point.
Yeah. So it was obviously useful on Perfect Agent, but yeah, we weren't sure if it was doable on Agent. So let's see what Illu could do here.
And how come it for sure saves time on Perfect Agent, but maybe not Agent? What's the sort of difference of levels going on there?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's dramatically different. Perfect Agent's so different. You even start in a different spot. The whole everything about Perfect Agent's just way different.
That's true, yeah. And I mean,
it's just a one level where you start in different spots depending on the difficulty. Is that the only level in Perfect Dark where that happens?
I think so.
Pretty crazy.
So here's
the warp coming up.
The urn. Or did he miss? He must have missed that.
Okay, so that's pretty close. That would be, I reckon, 107 pace. Probably
Okay,
that run.
So I mean, if that's close to 106 pace, yeah.
I swear, from memory, that run wasn't ideal either. It was just not a good run.
Yeah, cool. So
on a perfect run with Dishwasher, I think 105 was doable.
Yeah, it's
sure.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, the Dishwasher warp. What a strategy. And so it's one of those things you can see he would only be skipping the part where, let's get Mark's run to the Dishwasher. You're only skipping this part here where, You're at the dishwasher. Okay, so you warp through it. You fall into the basement. So you're skipping like all this portion coming down to here. So you're skipping like a 4, 5, it's about a 6-second strafe area. Hopefully, though, the warp is going to be less than 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, it's kind of close. Like, Mark was at the dishwasher at 32 when he was in that area at 38. Illu is at, like, okay, like a high 33, low 34. Yeah.
So that was, say how slow that was? Like, the beginning of the run was slow as.
Yeah, like, this strat might save, like, 2 seconds. Now, the thing is, it's like, if Villa 105 were to happen, it would be cool if it happened with the kind of traditional strategy on, like, an absolutely mad, insane run where you're stretching for every 10th of a second. But maybe this will be the strategy that makes it happen instead. But it wasn't. In December 2018, despite the dishwasher warp and all this other stuff out there, a gentleman, Timokles, who was a Perfect Dark Xbox Live arcade player, got this run. I mean, look how smooth this gameplay is. It's like beautiful at this point. And we're going to witness something shocking in this speedrun.
I mean, even though probably objectively this has better graphics and everything, I just don't like the way it looks. I love the old school N64 style, you know?
Yeah, who doesn't? He's going to run out here, and he goes outside, onto this rail, through the wall, into the basement. Wow. And that puts any dishwasher-ness to rest right there, I would say. Quick reload. Quick reload. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Villa
Bingo,
agent.
bango, bongo.
Bingo, bango, bongo. 59 seconds. Of course, this is Xbox Live Arcade, so it doesn't count the same rankings, but impressive. And, you know, you would think, okay, it's a different game, like, different engine type of thing, but they rebuilt it the exact same way. And as it turns out, the strategy worked. It worked on console. Here's Boss trying out for, like, the first time. You can see his in-game timer's at, like, 21 minutes. That's how long he's been trying it for.
Mm-hmm.
Gets on the rail. Ekes through and he's in.
Yeah. Boss is always the first one to do anything.
It's true. Now, how hard is it to get on the rail there? Like, it's not easy. You kind of have to land in the perfect spot.
Yeah, it's not easy. The whole thing's not easy. No,
yeah,
the whole trick is hard.
So this isn't this isn't free at all. And if you're watching someone, like, when this happened, late 2018, early 2019, I would watch people stream it, and, like, you would get runs out to the rail, and, like, you would just not land on the rail. That would be a very, very common thing that you'd see take place. Because the game doesn't want you to land on the rail.
Yeah. Getting on the rail is not the hardest part. It's not free. But when I was, it's. I'll just say that there's a lot of skill involved to get it really consistently. Because when I was watching Ace, who would inevitably play this trick, when I was watching him, man, he would just get he would do it so easily. Not every time, but he would do it pretty consistently, getting onto the rails, and do everything. But when I tried it, man, it was just so hard. I couldn't get it. If I could get it consistently, I'd play it, but it was, when I played it, it was tricky. It was definitely tricky.
Well, one guy who was able to get it with some consistency was indeed Big Bossman. Again, the record is 106. We're sitting here at December 29, 2018, and Boss would get this speed run, a run so remarkable it is dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Corey Meyer. Thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon, let's watch this big Bossman speedrun. And it was a historic run. You have to remember, the record has been 106 at this point for more than 11 years.
Yeah, see how safe he did those sniper shots?
Because he knows there's a lot of time.
Yeah, when you get these hard tricks, you know, yeah. What hard tricks of anything do is they make everything else on the run just less optimal. You know, because you don't want to be wasting time resetting all these other bits when you know you're gonna have to probably reset most of the time on at this trick anyway. You know what I mean? So you try and do everything else as safe as possible just to get as many runs to this trick as you can.
It's true. It's almost kind of bittersweet in some ways, I would say. It's like, yeah, you're saving time, but it like makes much of the run less optimal, like you said. It's like there's a beauty in getting the perfectly optimal speedrun, and sort of it's just a bit bittersweet is the best way to describe it. Yeah, like this ending is like a 109 back in the day style ending.
Yeah.
But Boss knew he could do it safely and get away with it and get Villa Agent 104, a 2-second untied world record. And with that, the era of 106s is over.
It's over. Lest we forget, though.
104 now. Well, what else are we gonna forget? You know, I got a couple more runs to show, but was that what you're getting at?
I was just saying, lest we forget the insaneness that was the 106s. You know,
they were insane, and they're always like, that's the thing, right? It would have been so cool to have like the beautiful, magical 105 insane run. Even before this strategy came out, I was actually thinking, like, man, a video about is Villa Agent 105 possible might be like an interesting video to do, because I believe it was the second oldest record at the time. Yeah, here it is. Like, look at this craziness. 4,000 days. Second oldest record in all of Perfect Dark after War Agent. And then it just gets shattered by a new strategy being discovered. And it also kind of makes you wonder, like, are there more clips like this to be found? Maybe on this level, maybe on every level.
There is, for sure.
Yeah, it's like a guarantee that they're out there. Well, with that, and with the second oldest record in Perfect Dark history being beaten, although Extraction Agent is creeping up on it, well, there's still time to see these runs get optimized. So let's see them get optimized, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
New Year's Day 2019, Clemens would get this run. Those are pretty solid, decent shots there.
Yeah, it was a lot better start.
Yeah, I did hear Clemens was going for 105, like, you know, not like a serious mounting a charge to get it, but he would play occasionally for 1 and 5 on and off before this came out, and never managed, you know, much that was too close. So you see like a lot of kind of pausing and adjusting early on to kind of get your bearings straight.
You're not going to be able to do that without pausing, I think. That's always going to be a sort of a pause buffer setup.
Well, who knows? Oh, messed up that door.
Missed B press there for sure.
YOLO those two guards.
I think he missed the B press. I'm not sure if he would have yelled it if he didn't mess up that door. But when you mess up the door, you know, you got to be like, whatever. I'll just go for the broke here.
He's laughing hysterically.
Laughing because it was a shit run, but every guy died probably. So of course, on the run that everything went wrong, you kill all the guards, and
you get like a very average a untied world record. That's not like, yeah, it's an untied, but it's not the most thrilling ever. Yes, Ricky, this is uploaded to your channel of all people. There you go. Yep. So that was on New Year's Day 2019, and then Ace would get involved. The next day, Ace would get this speed run.
That was nice.
Sounds like he's used some Paper
This is
Mario
a pretty good
music.
start now.
Yeah, well, Ace is going to take this to like its fullest end, and he's going to go for he's going to basically go for a 106, 107 with the new strategy. Oh, this was during transfer pack. Not a guard was in the way.
Yeah. Bloody hell. Typical, man.
What? No.
Adding in the bloody fail at the start. That should be a bannable offense. Can we put that in the proof policy, please? Just ban proof videos with a fail before
Oh, and there's even another one. Wow. Yep.
Unbelievable.
This one pretty much has to be it. We're at like 1 minute and a 2:30. Let's see. Nope. Okay, this one has to be it.
And then it just cuts to bloody Rickroll. You're never going to give you a heartbeat out of it.
Yeah, okay, so during these streams in January, Ace's cart and memory pack were corrupted, so he would have to beat the game up to Villa, which is only 3 levels, every time he was going to try to play for this world record. And I think on the end screen you actually get, it comes up like memory pack not detected, I think, which will be a funny little meme to see. But yeah, I mean, Ace is going to go. Ace certainly, again, he was the original 106er back in 2007. So he's going to go for a 106, 107 worthy run with the new trick. There it is. I'm curious to see how
it's tricky to hit those buttons when you're getting like shot like that from that guard.
Yeah, and a bit of a stuck on that guard. Certainly at least like a second, I would say. Those two were...
Oh, that was YOLO. That was YOLO as hell.
That was insane. He's like shooting 2 bullets at these guys. Yeah, I mean, this ending is pretty mad. He was mad at that stuff.
Yeah, that ending was incredible. So I think if you're going to save time here, it'd be somewhere else, you know? Like just everywhere else. Getting the whole run good.
Yep. And yeah, he exits and he gets error saving game. Please insert the pack, and then the end screen. Pretty funny stuff. Well, he got this on January 2. He would play for another more than a week, and on the 13th of January this year, he would finally get this run, a speedrun so remarkable, it's dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Mr. Moxie. Thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's watch the final run of the night by PerfectAce.
It's really hard to get a run this good with that trick. It really is. It really is.
Well, again, because the 106 is like a 1 in 1,000 run, or worse, to now have to do a trick that might be like a 1 in 50 trick, you're really struggling to get any runs complete.
Yeah, Ace was getting the trick like pretty consistently, but that's because he's Ace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no one else can do this as consistent as Ace, like that trick.
Yeah, that's. I mean, and watching streams of this were really cool because you would see how kind of uncommon it was. It was maybe like a 1 in 4, 1 in 5 thing for a lot of the players when they were really getting into it, but...
Yeah, this one's probably still a 107. Just based on... there was a bit of a stuck on that door. Came to the basement there.
And so that's the thing, is this run has turned out, again, we're going to get the memory pack glitch right here. Or not glitch, but, you know, save elsewhere. 101. That is the untied world record on Villa Agent. And even if we look at the rankings today, as they stand, 101 is the world record. And you can see Clemens is 103 and Boss is 104. No one else has sub 106, even using the new strategy. So you think that run was roughly equal to a 107 old strategy?
Yes. 107, I'd say.
So that would mean that 101 minute flat is probably out there still.
Mm-hmm. For sure. But 101's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to talk about this while we bring up the Q&A and we let people start to ask their own questions in chat. It's like, 1 minute is probably possible, but it's like probably an ace only strat. Like, it's an ace only time to get the 106. Like, think about it. Only 5 people had 106 in 11 years. And now you have this more difficult strategy to throw in there. There aren't too many people who could theoretically get the 1 minute time, but it is it's theoretically out there, is what it comes down to. And maybe even 59 is theoretically out there, as like, the godly end game time. What do you think?
I don't think we know enough about I don't know much about the trick itself. As far as it's possible. And, it probably will happen at some point for sure. But I think there might be something to learn about the trick or something that might make it faster. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
hard to say.
That's the thing with those tricks, is that they can always, like, the trick is new. So in 10 years, maybe we'll get better at the trick, which is a big thing as well. And when there's new strategy, it can be cool to see like all these fresh players rush in and get like these new Untides. And in this case, we didn't really see that. We saw Boss, Clemens, and Ace, 3 players who are world record caliber players, and so no one was able to take advantage and get a new record in that time. Even though it saves 5 seconds, 5-6 seconds. So you would expect someone like to have jumped up in there and gotten like a 105 by now, but it just hasn't taken place. I wonder when it will.
And so people are asking about not pausing in the trick. Pausing during the trick doesn't lose time, because you can't hold forwards. There's no point keeping momentum on the rail. So if you were to not pause and like try and just strafe the whole thing, it's impossible, because you have to turn like a full 180, like an instant 180. So when you're pausing, you're basically killing momentum on purpose. You know what I mean? And while you're waiting for your momentum to stop, you're just pausing to aim up where you need to go after that. So yeah, you wouldn't really do it. I think doing it without pausing would be like slower. Sometimes when you're like on, I mentioned this during the Skedder Agent SpeedLore as well. I was pause buffering the first throw. I was like, and sometimes when you're running a certain direction and you got to like, there's a momentum, so you can't do an action while that momentum's going. You have to wait for that momentum to stop, So that's why pausing there is okay, because you have to wait for your momentum to stop anyway.
Yeah, it's like if you were running in a straight line 100 yards, if you paused in the middle, it would bring your momentum down to 0. You'd have to reaccelerate. But in this case, you have to stop to turn around and flip into the crack there, so... Yeah, that might be all, to be honest. I think we might have covered it all, covered the whole story. We'll give anyone, maybe 30 more seconds to get in and see if they have anything to say, and then we'll wrap up.
Or did we? Yes.
One day there'll be something a mad surprise at the end of a SpeedLore. But there we go. All right.
Yeah, we're doing Q&A, right? If anyone has any questions.
Yep. I think, I think that may be that. Let's see. Oh, there you go. How important is the support of your of your wife in supporting speedrunning?
Super important, man. Super important. Okay, so for example, now my dream is honestly coming true right now. YouTube is like blowing up and stuff. And I mean, when I quit my job like last August, and she was like helping to support me financially and everything, while I was working on Twitch and everything. I mean, that kind of stuff, to really commit to that. You're talking about speedrunning, but I'm just talking about everything, you know, doing this for a career. So in my specific example, 100% totally important, because I wouldn't be able to do that without Doris. If Doris wasn't here and I was just supporting myself, I'd have to work, like, you know, find a full-time job and that kind of stuff. You need support. Oh well, even you need, if you're in a relationship and you like speedrunning, you have to be with someone who is fine with it, you know. And she was supportive. It's super important. I don't know how much else to say about it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Good answer. Does quick run the sniper save any time? Yeah, I mean, it saves about half a second at the start. Regumon asks, how do you warp through the dishwasher? I think it's just the game is sometimes poorly, you know, there's cracks, and I guess there's enough of a hole in the dishwasher where it works out. And, okay, let's see this one last little warp that Henrik found. He kind of boosted himself. I can't even hardly.
What the hell is that?
I can't even tell where he is.
DK guard. Okay. He's on the stairs. Okay, do this again.
I think
he's on this. Yeah, he's on the stairs. Just the first stairs. No, this is like some different staircase.
And now he's like below the generator. I don't think that would be useful at all, because you have to hit objective 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it would skip everything you need to do.
When you find a warp like the ones in Perfect Dark, is just from playing the level so many times over, or do you go looking for them? I think that you go out looking for them at this point in time. I think that's what happens. Like, I think the dishwasher warp was found by like someone who knew the code.
There were a bunch of yeah. See, Henrik finds a lot of stuff as well, because he can check the he has, like, you know, you have tools when you're using emulators and that kind of stuff. But you can check, like, you can put your collision to 0 and stuff. Like Joanna's collision to 0, I think. Usually the Perfect Dark warps has a gap, or there's some space that is not a solid boundary, and they're the things that you kind of can look at. So you can kind of get rid of all the textures, I guess, and just check the actual boundaries themselves and try and find gaps. So that's how some people do it.
Yeah, that must be mind-numbing. But yeah, put your collision to 0 in emulators and like see where you start to morph into the wall. Gandair asks, how much is known about the bullets not properly being fired? Yeah, I don't know exactly, but it's something that needs to be tested more, because we don't know that much about it, I would say.
Yeah, well, it was known about for a long time, because the reason we know about it just experimentally was from multiplayer. And you know how you had those ranks? Characters had ranks on multiplayer?
I never played it, but yeah.
Okay, so in Perfect Dark, when you have a character, you have ranks. And the way to gain ranks is to like run a certain distance, shoot a certain amount of bullets, get a certain amount of kills, get a certain amount of medals. And so we used to like do things where we would set cruise control in a circle and then just leave our character running around in a circle and just let our 64 sit there so that we could get distance accrued and stuff. And also just, you know, we would shoot or get all these ammo boxes into a corner. So we'd manually find them from all around the level and just shoot them into a place, and have our character just stand there in the corner, and we'd tape down Z So Joanna would just sit there and just keep shooting. And you would think that the gun that theoretically would shoot the fastest would be the Cyclone magazine. I forget what the secondary function is, but it shoots the whole magazine like really quickly, which is like 50 bullets. But then you would check the stats, and it would only shoot like 30 bullets. Like you would spend magazine dump. So you do a magazine discharge, and then you would think that you would shoot 50, but it would shoot 30 according to the stats. So that's been known about for a long time. I don't know what it is, a frame rate issue or whatever, but it just you lose heaps.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and obviously it does kind of factor in here on Villa Agent. There you go. I think that just about does it. So I think I'll wrap up. People want me to watch the Facility 42 fail. I think I'll wrap up. Let you go to set up stream, and I'll watch it at that point. Is a possible sub 1 minute run this year? I would say no, but maybe someday, way down the line, it will be. The dream is out there for Villa Agent 59. It maybe one day in the next 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there we have it. Thanks for hanging out and watching Perfect Dark SpeedLore. Thanks to all these remarkable SpeedLore legends. Look at all these beautiful names on this nice list. Thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon so much. It makes us way more able and enjoyable to do these amazing episodes. So we'll be back probably at the end of July with another Perfect Dark SpeedLore. Thanks, Carl, for joining me as always. Wonderful insight and analysis on Villa Agent. And thank you guys for hanging on and watching. With that, stay true, my friends, and I'll see you in the next stream or video.